They laughed the moment she laid her rifle on the mat. A chorus of smirks rippled through the recruits, sharp enough to sting more than the desert wind against her face. To them, her setup looked wrong. Too precise, too calculated, nothing like the sloppy comfort most of them carried. She heard the whispers behind her back, the chuckles that questioned why she was even there. But her hands didn't tremble. They were steady, practiced, as if every movement was stitched into her memory long before this day. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Still, a shadow of doubt crept inside her chest. What if they were right? What if all her preparation meant nothing here, under the scorching sun, where failure was measured in both pride and pain? She adjusted the sling, brushed dust off the receiver, and reminded herself that this wasn't just a drill. It was her chance to prove she belonged. The murmurs grew louder. One recruit muttered, "What kind of setup is that? Looks like she copied it out of a manual." Another chuckled, "She's trying too hard." Their voices cut deep, reopening scars she thought she had buried. The years of being underestimated, the countless times someone told her she wasn't strong enough, wasn't tough enough. Her heart pounded, but she kept her eyes locked on the target ahead. She thought of her father's voice, quiet but firm, echoing from the past. Precision isn't pride, it's survival. Then came the silence. The instructor approached, boots crunching against the gravel, his shadow stretched over her rifle like a verdict. The recruits held their breath, eager to see her humiliated, eager to see their laughter validated. He crouched low, close enough for her to catch the faint scent of dust and oil on his uniform. For a long moment, he said nothing, and then, in a voice low enough that only she could hear, he whispered, "Only Rangers train like that." Her chest tightened. The words sliced through her doubt and set fire to her veins. He knew. He recognized every deliberate choice in her setup, the sling angle, the stock adjustment, the breathing discipline. It wasn't just training. It was heritage. It was legacy. The recruits shifted uncomfortably. They couldn't hear what he said, but they saw the change in his eyes, the respect drawn across his face like an unspoken salute. She inhaled slowly, pressed her cheek against the stock, and let the world narrow to the target in the distance. One shot cracked through the silence. Dust lifted. The bullet landed clean, dead center. Another followed. Then another. Each shot sang like a declaration, echoing across the range until the whispers had nowhere left to hide. The crowd of recruits, once mocking, fell into stunned silence. Some swallowed hard. Others looked away. None dared to laugh now. The air felt heavier, charged with something they hadn't expected, respect that could not be demanded, only earned. She lowered the rifle, her hands still steady. For a moment, she thought about turning, about letting them see the quiet storm in her eyes. But she didn't. Strength didn't need to announce itself. It spoke in results. The instructor finally straightened, his voice cutting through the stillness for everyone to hear. Remember this. Skill isn't loud. It doesn't boast. It just proves itself, over and over again. In that moment, the moral tension hung heavy in the air. Was it wrong to have mocked her? Or was it simply part of the brutal test of belonging? Either way, the truth stood undeniable. She had risen above, not through defiance, but through mastery, because courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers through steady hands and quiet resilience. And kindness? It doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. The same whispers that once mocked her now carried awe. And as the sun dipped low over the range, the dust settling around her boots, she realized something simple yet profound. Silence had become her ally, and respect her reward. If you felt her strength today, I'd love for you to subscribe and join this community where stories like hers are never forgotten. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated, only to prove everyone wrong? Your story matters here.